Back at it again, it's Scott Spence. You know what time it is. It's time for the top 10 2024 East Texas preseason wide receivers. So your top 10 wide receivers coming in from last year. Already had an omission. Brendan Webb obviously is a top player coming back in East Texas. Honestly, I had him down as a senior, so that was just on me on the mishap. So Brendan Webb is obviously probably the top guy, or probably second to Scott Lewis maybe. But he's a top 10 guy, so that precursor going into it, I've already prepared though for this 10. So this is what you guys are gonna get. It'll be okay. So I guess to highlight one more receiver in East Texas, but for sure Brendan Webb is that guy from Gilmer, and he was just omitted out of this one. But at least on the video, we got a chance to show him a little love. But let's get into the top 10 preseason wide receivers from East Texas. At number 10, from Lufkin, Texas, big target, Krishan Preston. And Preston is a competitive dude, man. He can win off of the release. He's a guy that has competitive hands. He goes up and snatches the ball away. He's a red zone target. He's a jump ball target. He is a one-on-one target down the field. They did a lot of that with TJ Hammond last year. And so he is part of the reason why Lufkin is very confident in this senior class that they've put together, that they've had a chance to grow and mature, and they think this is a group. And so we'll find out what happens out in Lufkin. And Krishan Preston is one of the biggest reasons why. Big target, got some offers already. He's going to be a big-time playmaker. And I can't wait to see that Longview Lufkin game in week 1. At number 9, Rod Bailey, a scrappy dude at receiver, man. He is electric with the ball in his hands. He plays bigger than what he is. He's only about 6 foot, but he long arms, plays like he's like 6'3" sometimes. He is a competitive athlete at hooks. I mean, he's going to go after it. He gets after it, and that's one of the things that I really love about receivers and their competitiveness and trying to snatch the ball away from the opponent. So I really love that aspect about Bailey. He's got jets on him. He's a guy that can really run. The quarterback is the head coach's son, so you know they're going to throw the ball out there at hooks. And so it'll be fun to see what Rob Bailey can do in his senior season here at hooks in 2024. At number 8, a tight end has slipped into the list. Number 8 tight end, Hudson Barron from White House. The senior tight end is a good football player, man. He can block, but he's really best at being that safety valve target. He wins and dominates the middle of the field, whether it be drag routes across the middle and traditional tight end routes, or if it's a flag, or if it's an out. He's a guy that if you match him up one-on-one, he really can run routes and really catch the football. He's a quarterback's best friend, a guy that can get open in the middle of that field, and they became a great connection with Kerry at the end of the year last year after Josh Green went down. Like I said, he can block as well, and so that's important in your inside zone game when you got a guy peeling on the backside, also pulling on counter and things like that. White House does it and uses him well in their scheme, and so I think Hudson Barron is one of those players that has a big impact and they're winning at White House, and I think he's going to be a huge player for them and potentially a top 100 guy. So at number 8, tight end, Hudson Barrett. At number 7, Marquez Jones from Redwater. And Marquez Jones is electric out there at Redwater. He had, 19 total touchdowns. So he's a guy, when he gets the ball in his hands, he can really go to the house with it. He's fast, and that's one of the first things that you see on this tape, that he can run by people at will, especially on the level that he plays at. He is just tearing some of those DBs up. He's just running right by those guys. And when you have that kind of speed, which, rumor is 4.3, I don't know because I ain't seen it, but, he is fast, and he just showed that on the tape. As an electric runner, can get the ball and go north with it, and those guys translate. Speed translates. So no matter where you are in Texas, no matter how big or how small or your school is, when you've got that kind of speed, you can be one of those type of players. And he's one of the fastest players in East Texas, coming in here at number 7, Marquez Jones. Now at number 6, a guy that might be even faster than him, Camden Capehart, the 100-meter dash runner in the state of Texas as a sophomore this year. Camden Capehart can absolutely fly, and he has the hands to match it. Now, why is he at number 6? Don't know who's playing quarterback out there in Winsboro. He had Kyler Finney, and Kyler Finney was incredible. and that led to some big production from him in his sophomore season. But we don't know who's playing quarterback, so we don't know how that's going to affect his production. I'm sure they still got another stud coming up, but you just don't know that, so that's kind of why he sits so low here at number 6. But he's definitely a potential top 100 guy, and with the speed that he has, you can't go wrong putting a guy like Camden Capehart on this kind of list. He's a guy that should be offered up because he can absolutely fly, and looks kind of like in the state of like an Andy Isabella, but I think maybe even more skilled than what he had in high school. Nonetheless, coming in here at number 6, Camden Capehart. At number 5, a tight end from Henderson, Jordan Irvin. And Jordan Irvin is a 6'3". He is not the tallest person in the world, not the biggest person in the world at 6'3", playing tight end, but he is a physical guy that can get off the football in one block, and number 2, he can also catch the ball and go somewhere with it. He is explosive at the tight end position, dominates in the middle of the field. You can throw it to him. He's going to come down with the football. I think he's a guy that may have been slightly underused in what they did at Henderson. I don't know, not to critique, but his highlights don't show him catching the ball enough. With that kind of athleticism, that's a guy you won't have the ball in his hands. I think he's got to be a guy that they lean on, and I think he's a really good football player with an extremely talented skill set, and I think he's going to be a big-time football player for Henderson, coming in here at number 5, Jordan. At number 4, DeQuane Prevost, junior wide receiver / cornerback from Liberty Ilo. DeQuane Prevost has made the list as a freshman, had an explosive freshman year. He got graded out as a 90 last year, just came up short from making the list, but he's a guy that I'm expecting to be on this top 100 once again. Interesting enough, his 247 has him listed as a cornerback now, but nonetheless, DeQuane Prevost is one of those dudes that can flat out play. He's a dynamic ball player. When he has the ball in his hand, he is explosive, knows his way to the end zone. Supreme athleticism, which makes him one of those Division I type targets. Got plenty of offers and a lot of schools that want to get at him. He's a gold ball to Texas A&M. So Prevost, I'm expecting to have a big junior season, and comes in here at number 4 from Liberty Ilo, DeQuane Prevost. At number 3, the number 1 receiver from Dangerfield from the season past year, Kenny Mosley. Kenny Mosley is a big-time two-way player from Dangerfield. Kenny Mosley, 1,100 yards and 14 touchdowns last year, number 1 on the team in yards and touchdowns, and he messed around, had 78 tackles and 6 picks on defense as well. One of the top DBs in East Texas as well. Kenny is just one of those top playmakers. He can run the tunnel screen that Dangerfield has done so well for so long. He's also a guy that can beat you down the field with routes. He's held a guard on a one-on-one basis. He's a supreme route runner. And then, of course, on defense, he's a hell of a guy tracking the football in the air, playing safety. Kenny is a big-time playmaker, and with the relationship that he has, Johnson, I just think that most of these of their chances and what these guys can do out in Dangerfield, as they always try to contend for another state title. At number 2 from Jefferson, Chris Love, a 6'3", 175-pound wide receiver. He is a rebounder out there on the field. He is, you can tell he's a basketball player. He's a legend on the court out there in Jefferson, but he really made his claim to stake last year as a receiver last year for Jefferson. He's long. His catch radius is insane. He can catch the ball anywhere around him, and he knows what to do with the football after catching it. He's a guy that can house it, and I expect him to have a huge senior season this year from Jefferson, Chris Love. And the number 1 receiver, not named Brendan Webb on this list, is Sky Lewis from Sulphur Springs. Now, Sky Lewis is one of those guys that benefited from playing with an awesome quarterback in Brady Driver. But even without Brady Driver coming back this season, Sky Lewis's athleticism on his own merits him being on the top of this list. Because he is a hell of a playmaker. There's nothing that he cannot do. He'll go up and catch the ball on the fade ball. He'll catch the ball over the middle in the RPO game and go to the house with it. He'll run extremely great routes on the outside to get himself open. He has a great set of hands. He is highly productive, and his YPC is through the roof. He's a guy that's probably had the biggest YPC in East Texas last year, because he had about 40 catches for about 11 or 1,200 yards. It's insane. He had a dominant junior year, made the list last year, and he's a guy that I expect to be the top receiver coming back, regardless of who's playing, because of the scheme that they run out there at Sulphur Springs allows for him to get open, and I believe as long as somebody can get him the ball, he can make plays. And so my number one receiver, not named Brendan Webb, is Sky Lewis from Sulphur Springs.